First of all, I'm very glad to be with you. Your president is absolutely right. It's trouble flying in Europe and in the US and in Canada and everywhere. So it took me 24 hours from going from home to being here last night. I arrived at 10 o'clock. Fortunately, the bed here was very good. I had a good night's sleep, and I'm happy to be with you. And I'm very encouraged for two things, both that you agreed declaring church fellowship and that I can see so many of you here. You are the big church to us. We are very small. And and we were born in this time of history with a purpose. To the LCMS, when we declared church fellowship, I spoke to the audience saying, we are living in the darkness you're heading to. Well, you are closer behind us, I think, than the US. So if we get this PowerPoint up now, it's all there. So if you need to find me, find my name, my email, your president has it, but you can also go to the websites. There are two websites, one for Norway and one for Iceland. So, as you can see, we are two countries with three people groups. You see three colors there, three flags. It's Norway, Iceland, and the Lapp population, Sami, with their own flag. We also have a congregation there, and when I'm there, I need translation. We are in Norway and Iceland, where you see the blue and the red dots. We are a small church. The red dots means we have a local kind of a board in charge of the church, and the blue ones not yet. We do have worship services, mission plans, and Iceland is one of them, as you can see. The reason is Iceland is very liberal, and we discovered that we had in our church the only confessional Icelandic pastor in the world, married to a Norwegian, the senior pastor of our church in Oslo. All our pastors need to be bivocational. He was a substitute teacher. I'm a traffic manager at the bus terminal. At this very moment, I'm actually supposed to have a shift at the bus terminal in Oslo. I had to trade shifts with another colleague to be with you. But I told this Icelandic pastor, it's silly that you teach substitute teacher in a Norwegian school when you're the only one in the world that can do a job that must be done, church planting in Iceland. So at this moment, he is in Iceland. He's commuting to Iceland, having worship service every 6 weeks, and then doing Bible study on Zoom and building up a congregation that way. Our hope is to identify a young man that can study theology and live there. This Icelandic pastor we have is married to a Norwegian, and the family doesn't speak Icelandic, so it's not an option for him to return. The reason I am so happy that you wanted to declare church fellowship with us, it's opening up some opportunities for us. And we are so small that we only enter church fellowship talks with those we can do business with. Because we're not like the LCMS that can have an embassy in every country. We need to speak with those where we need to do something together. And on the way last fall to the US, where US didn't allow me to enter because I've been in Europe the last 2 weeks, it was this COVID rules. I said, well, if I stay in Canada 2 weeks, I can enter. So I was at St. Catherine's. And then I discovered, wow, this is a great place. Because we have 12 seminary students, and our seminary program is growing. And in the 5-year program, they must do the 4th year at Concordia Seminary, Fort Wayne, or St. Louis, but they told us there was limits how much they could take of our people. And I say, we need to fix that bottleneck. We need more places to choose from so our students can get the 4th year. Because I am refusing to ordain anyone without this 1 year at Concordia Seminary, because we do a supplement program for another institution. So we need more help for the detox program. So for that reason, I thought, hey, this is great, and that is what started me saying, is there a way we can start church fellowship talks? So this is the way we do church plant in the post-Christian Europe. We learn from you, but let me share who we are and what we do, and perhaps some of this may be of help for you. First of all, we are liturgical. That is fantastic. Even if you add to the thing that is theological smart, it is also strategic smart. I have 4 times had worship service with 1 person showing up. Liturgy works. You can try to do contemporary worship with 2, won't work. And you can just do the same. You scale it up, 2 people, 20 people, 200 people, works fine. And when we are 2 or 3, I even have a word from Christ. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in their midst. I think that is meant for the microsites also in Europe and Canada. We are self-supporting. We do accept help from other partners, but never for operating expenses, because we need to build healthy congregations saying, you are responsible for yourself. We are 150 members. We have an average age group 7 years younger than the average Norwegian population. Majority young men. I don't know how to get more women on board. The thing with age will fix itself. We have no one age 50 and up, almost. Time will work for us. We have 1 bishop and 5 pastors in active duty. We have 9 congregations where 6 are more regular ones, 3 are mission plants. We have 12 seminary students and growing. We ordain 4 pastors next summer, and we rent our worship sites. We own nothing. We may actually, in a month's time, take over 1 worship site to own for the first time, and that was the issue 2 days ago at our national board meeting, our church. This is a new situation for us. We don't like it. Renting is great because you can rent bigger when you need bigger. You're not stuck. Anyway, when we are in church fellowship, we are very thankful we can also see if there are things we do that can be of interest for you to relate to. Partners in mission. Oh, sorry, sorry, it was another one. Volunteers. So here's how we operate. We have a kind of a 1, 2, 3. With us, you start as a guest. Level 2 is you become a volunteer. Level 3 is you become a member. Because this young age group, they rather volunteer and tithe than become a member. And we say that's fine. Take your time. And we found that to work. Pastors, we need pastors with full theological training, and they need to be bivocational. When I ordain 4 new pastors next year, they are getting a 30% paid position, all of them, each of them. And they have to find another 70% part-time job, and we have a salary guarantee. If that job as cashier at the local supermarket pays less than us, we pay what's in between. So it means everyone ordained gets the same salary, independent of how things are going. When local giving increases, their paid position increases. And I'm telling you and the US friends, the gap between low paid and high paid in Norway is not that big, so it's not a big risk for us. But it's a big difference to know for a young family, we have income next year. Guarantee. And then I do think it's a secret factor for our growth, and that is giving to mission. We have given 10% to overseas mission from day one. Independent of how bad things were, we always gave 10% to overseas mission. That is beneficial for two reasons. It's good for mission, but it's also very good to show the congregation members that our church is not thinking the way, first we need to see how much we need and then we give away afterwards. Because we don't like that attitude with the congregation members. So it has become a great blessing, and we are also coming from a mission country. 100 years ago, Norway had 1,000 missionaries. We were the biggest mission nation in the world, and if you look at the size of the population and percent-wise of how many missionaries. It's every Norwegian Christian family have a family member. I've been 10 years in Israel. My sister was many years in Ethiopia and Tanzania. That's normal. And we like that DNA. Being a partnering with you was good for us. We could ask you where to give to Ukraine. We did an extra offering on top of the tithing, and your church knew about Ukraine, where we could send the money now. So regarding partners in mission, Iceland, do you see this poster? This is the Sunday school poster for the Sunday school in Iceland, where Jesus is a trans person with boobs, inviting children to Sunday school. This Iceland is the immigrants from Iceland went to Canada, not to the US. Perhaps this is of interest for some of you to partner with us here. The Lutheran Church in Iceland is very liberal, as you can see, and the Lutheran Church in Norway did recently expand to Iceland. And the reason we did that instead of starting a church in Iceland is that we have experienced ourselves what a trouble it is. You start a church, small church, and then other LCMS and other churches around the world says, we don't want to be in fellowship with you before you're big enough. Well, it's when you're very small you need that fellowship. So what we're doing, we're expanding our arm and saying that's a part of us. We're together. When it's big enough, it's on its own. It will take some years. And Israel. I lived 10 years in Israel. Look at this. Isn't that great dates? Our church is organizing funding and work. The church started with Russian-speaker immigrants with Lutheran background. So it's under the Russian church, like Iceland is under us. When this is big enough, it's on its own. But these are Russian immigrants. And some of you are doing trips to Israel, aren't you? Aren't you interested in more than meeting the stones, also the living stones? And if you are, contact me because we need more partners. We are giving 10% of all our mission money to Israel. It's not enough. Our shoulders are not big enough. We're looking for others to say, we will join you. I'll show you the next. Do you see the picture here, all the dots? These dots are telling where in Israel we have identified Russian immigrants with Lutheran background in Israel. I have led a search where we have found things no one knew about. But they have lived in Israel so long, they're doing just great without God. So we are tracking down the lost sheep. Some are coming to worship service. There used to be some Lutheran congregations there. The blue dots used to be blue congregation, but one has started rebaptizing people. The other one has closed down, and the third one has had 2 Anglican senior pastors in a row. Not very, very Lutheran. So we rent the one church by the coast, and you see the circle here? Do you see a circle? That's 1.5 hours drive to get to church. You cover almost all Israel with one building, if you're willing to drive 1.5 hours. So this is just showing the church, some of the people, and we have, on Friday, I fly to Israel. We're having ordination in 2 weeks' time by the Russian bishop. I will be there. It's also a way for me to meet the Russian bishop. I can't get to Russia now. They can't get to us. Israel is neutral territory. So we can work together. And my last one is showing we did fundraising up in Norwegian Lapland among people on old age security. Isn't that what you call it when you have little? No one is so poor they cannot give to mission. So this is there something we can do together? We are very thankful. The seminary thing is together. Some of the other perhaps. I'm just thankful you let me come to you, see you, and thank you so much.
Bishop Masvie and myself, on behalf of Lutheran Church Canada, will now formally sign our partnership agreement here at the table in the front. We didn't get we got an Iceland flag and a Norwegian flag here, and a Canadian, but we don't have the lap.
But it's 2 countries, so that's fine.
Oh, okay.
All right, if everyone would open their service book. And we're going to find Built on the Rock. It's in there. We know it. Verse 1. President Teuscher says it's the closest we can get to Norwegian, even though it's a Danish hymn. Page 52. 645. I will start us, so we're going to sing in the key of grace, and they will continue. Built on the rock.
The key of grace wasn't too bad after all.